Welcome back here at Goldberg. Today we're going to be discussing this story out of Southern California. And you might say, you should be mentioning current events. Perhaps next week. Obviously, the conflict has not been finalized. I want to do a larger segment, and who knows, the Supreme Diaper Maxer may not be around in a couple of weeks. But I'd like to cover Russia, Iran, and the collapse of the Fuentesian movement. So it should be interesting. But right now, we'll go after this one. I'm a pretty moderate fellow, even-handed. I'm not like that dude. I forget his name. He wears the t-shirts that look like life preservers, and he carries a stick. And he's always like, "Bro, these thoughts, bro. It's over, bro." In this case, we have Gloria Zamora. She's a fitness influencer, 158,000 followers, and she was dispatched by her estranged ex-husband. She's in her 40s, mother of 7, not all of them with the same guy. The mainstream reaction is typical man who can't handle his wife betraying him, or, I mean, not really betraying necessarily, just stepping away. But there's probably some more nuance to this. So just for confirmation, the daughter is saying she was murdered by stepdad Tomas in an act of unimaginable violence. I don't think it's unimaginable given where we are in society today. Because this lady, she's on the interwebs, she's out and proud, and that's a massive red flag. If you are in a relationship with a woman who has really any significant social media presence, but also if she's got a lot of people that are waiting for her every move, whatever she's going to post, it's dangerous. And just to give you a sense of it, this is one of the more mild. You had a lot of her in a thong, showing up her apparently not a BBL, she claimed, her ion cannons. She suggested he was cucking her, which is very possible, but I kind of wonder, was he doing it in reaction to her being spread eagle on the internet? Because, you're a fitness influencer, you're going to be getting guys sliding to your DMs, you might be doing collabs with other men who could be better looking or in better shape. And that, in contrast to your man, might make him look inferior because you're not just in a relationship with him, have a family, but you've got this entire separate life on the internet. If you leave him, you still possess that. And it's not good for the stability of a long-term relationship. So was he the one that started cheating? Was she posting this stuff in a reaction? Was it like a kind of parasitical type of relationship? We don't know. So the husband's on the right, and this is the boyfriend who also got taken out by the rage pill meltdown. Consider it for a second. You have a fellow, he is in the California court system, which means 50-50 division of assets, plus he's probably going to pay some child support. Unless he's a big baller lawyer, tech executive, he's not going to have the same life. And then you're going to be in your 40s trying to date. It's like some guy keeps popping up on my feed. What I learned, I'm 40 years old and I'm dating as a high-value man. It's my First Amendment right to wear my MAGA hat on the first date. Yeah, it's just not something to look forward to. And more to the point, you built this whole concept of the family, and now it's going to go by the wayside. So there's the financial aspect, not being able to see your kids as much. There's the fact that your wife is going to be living her best life, showing her ass all over the internet. She is, of course, not separating from you and then going, okay, I'm going to take a few years. Like when a woman says, I need to focus on myself. And magically, that doesn't entail I'm going to study Buddhism or just do charity work for a year. They're immediately in another relationship or they're riding the carousel. That's usually what it boils down to. And so I can understand the cynicism to an extent. If he's not very well off, he goes back into the economy, the inflation's picking up, money's not going as far, he might not be able to have a second wind as a passport bro in Southeast Asia. He might be experiencing age discrimination because he's competing against people in their 20s. So it's not like, okay, you're free as a man now, you're like a bird, fly away. It's going to be a little bit different. On her side of it, it's, I'm breaking free, I'm jiggling, and you have to just sit back and accept it. In fact, a lot of what society more or less demands is that the woman, no matter how many tests she's throwing the guy's way, he's supposed to be the better man. He just has to be relaxed, be the adult about it. This is unfortunately what gets a lot of women in trouble because she didn't just separate, which is one thing. She chose to go and put it on blast on the internet.com. She went on a female oriented podcast and she started saying, "Oh, he ain't crap. Oh, he's all these things." And woman's like, "Oh, it means he's insecure." And they all say the same. It's saying every woman who's left a relationship, the guy she was with, was narcissist, was insecure, was controlling, was possessive, whatever. Okay. It's like they're getting, from a central computer, the Borg Collective. They say the same stuff. And I would even be willing to bet that the guy was willing to work with her in the relationship. But usually, when you're at that point, they're telling you, go do this, but the outcome doesn't matter. Hopefully, you'll fail. That'll be the impetus to continue breaking up. But if you succeed, we'll just create a higher standard, hoping that you fail on that front. And even if you continuously pass those hurdles, you still say it doesn't matter, it will still end. But she's decided to do that. He's not going to be invited on the same podcast. He's not going to have a similar following where he can correct the record. So at best, he could be rage pilling in the comments section. And this was her mistake. Even some women in the comments on her posts after this happened were saying, you should just keep it private. Don't air out the dirty sheets. She chose to ignore such advice, and he decided to go to the one trump card men have, which is the primordial killer ape. Once again, women continuously push the envelope because they know in society, while legally they're considered equal, you're supposed to respond to them as if they're children, especially as a man. You can't overreact. You have to absorb any humiliation or insults, any bad behavior, because you can't. Even yelling at a woman is considered socially abnormal. Certainly anything beyond that is going to get you in a lot of trouble. But he decides, all right, life's over. I'm just going to go and I'm going to dispatch her. I'm going to remove the one thing that she probably did not expect and has no means of recourse on. So ladies, if you're ending an LTR or a marriage, which many of you will do, just try to keep it low key, de-escalate. Don't go and say, I'm going to get on TikTok, oh, he ain't crap, because you never know. What's dangerous for you is not the basement dwelling inkwell who's resigned to his fate playing video games. It's the normie, the high tier normie, even the Chad light who sees his world immolating around him and cannot accept that fact. As to the men, do not get involved with married women. You have these red pill, oh, you got to run game on them. They're easy. Don't mess with married women. If she's going through a divorce, likewise. Even if they just say, my ex was toxic, controlling, psychopath, at best, they can come over at 1 a.m., you smash them and you block. Do not be the relationship guy to one of these women. Don't hang out with them and their kids, because you never know when that ex is going to show up and they have nothing to lose anymore. There was a story about some rice cell. His Asian wife left him and got with a Mayo cell, and then he showed up and killed the Mayo cell. It's not worth it, okay? So don't try to, oh, I'll be the savior, I'll be the fighter. Don't do that. Just acknowledge the fact that someone else's mess should just be left with them. If they have to go to therapy or whatnot, but don't try to be the guy who's going to fix the problem, because it might very well end up costing you your life.